And I got a chance to go to a field visit to Char Kukri Mukri. Took a day and a half. It was really long. I thought we were going to the end of the world. But to find a community that is able to live in very difficult situations, always under flood, always inundated with water, and yet they have amazing tree plantation projects. They have amazing ability to make the best of their circumstances. It was a really great experience to see the rural Bangladesh and just the challenges that the local people go through.
Adaptation has been an inherent part of daily life in Bangladesh in particular, a country which has been very used to floods. So adaptation is not a concept that's only invented for climate change, but natural climate variability has necessitated that this happen for a very long time. But now there is a much higher severity and much higher frequency of extreme events and of other climate impacts. And so adaptation takes a new dimension in that it will become much more difficult to do so. It will become necessary for vulnerable communities to receive help to be able to match the needs with the changing climate. So even if we reduce our greenhouse gas emissions to zero, we are still locked into a certain level of climate change, which requires adaptation by all people on Earth.
The main 4 days long conference on community-based adaptation started at Dhaka Sheraton Hotel in the morning on 28th March 2011. Dr. A. Atiq Rahman, the Executive Director of BCAS, gave the inaugural speech highlighting the objectives of the conference. Also speaking were representative from UNFCCC, Mr. Yusuf Nasser, Professor Emeritus of University of Toronto, Dr. Ian Burton, the Honourable Minister for Ministry of Forestry and Environment, Dr. Hassan Mahmood, and Senior Fellow of IIED, Dr. Salim Al-Haq. In their speeches, they highlighted the importance of this initiative and its future. Emphasizing on the importance of this conference, Sheikh Hasina, the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, inaugurated the conference.
বাংলাদেশ সরকার জনগণ এবং নিজের পক্ষ থেকে আমি সবাইকে এই সম্মেলনে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। আপনারা ইতিমধ্যে বাংলাদেশের বিভিন্ন অঞ্চল সফর করেছেন। আপনারা দেখেছেন জলবায়ু পরিবর্তনের ফলে সৃষ্ট প্রভাবে আমাদের বিভিন্ন জনগোষ্ঠী কিভাবে ক্ষতিগ্রস্ত হয়েছে এবং এখনো হচ্ছে। বর্তমান বিশ্বে আমরা একে অপরের কাছ থেকে শিখছি। আপনারা বিজ্ঞানীগণ এবং উন্নয়ন কর্মীরা যেমন দরিদ্র জনগোষ্ঠী এবং তাদের কর্মকাণ্ড অনেক কিছু শিখছেন, তেমনি তারাও বিশেষ করে স্থানীয় সরকার এবং বেসরকারি উন্নয়ন সংস্থাগুলো আপনাদের কাছ থেকে শিক্ষা গ্রহণ করে জলবায়ু পরিবর্তন জনিত সমস্যার সমাধানে কাজ করছেন। সবাইকে আমি আবারও আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে আমি 5th ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কনফারেন্স অন কমিউনিটি বেসড অ্যাডাপ্টেশন টু ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জের শুভ উদ্বোধন ঘোষণা করছি।
The whole session was divided into plenary and parallel sessions. Various issues related to climate change like water, agriculture, health, gender, disaster risk reduction, livelihood were discussed in these sessions.
This workshop is actually creating the milestone to achieve what we really want to see, the community-centered adaptation programs and policies at all levels.
Every day, separate plenary and parallel sessions were conducted where representatives from different countries presented their information and ideas on a specific topic. They also shared experience about research on various projects, their current status and implementation. In 4 days and total 9 plenary and 14 parallel sessions, participants received clear understanding of the situation and the work plan in other countries, which opened up the window of possibilities and allowed for influencing each other toward the best approaches.
We have many examples of good pilot projects on the ground, but that's not enough. We're going to have to multiply them from a few dozen to a few hundred to a few thousand to tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and ultimately millions. And that's a huge challenge. Doing few good things is easy, multiplying that is not so easy. So one of the themes here is to try and share how do you multiply, how do you replicate, how do we expand the numbers that are taking place across the globe, not just in Bangladesh or in Asia.
All the world's villages and urban communities, there are really only a handful that have become engaged in adaptation to climate change. So we need to engage a lot more people and a lot more communities. So in that sense, it's a kind of movement. It's a kind of something that we're trying to make contagious so that other people will pick it up. We almost need a sort of a pandemic of adaptation. But then we also need to connect what is going on in these communities with their local governments and with their national governments, because at the moment they're not really well enough connected into the financial support system and into the decision making and policy communities. So we're really hopeful that we can strengthen those links by building up from the community-based level to local government and national government.